A very good morning to you watching Westnile Television, and you're most welcome for the program The KOKOLIRIKO Live on Westnile Television. My name is Denis Oringi, and today is Thursday, and you have to know that it is 20th of July 2023. And in the studio this morning, I am not alone. I have a gentleman who I will be dissecting a number of issues with. I have Honorable Anguyo Godfrey, who is a city councillor for Arua City, representing the people of Aivu Division, North Arua City, former Manibe and Aroe sub-counties that we had in Aivu County, then Arua District. Good morning, Honorable, and thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dennis. It's a pleasure to be here once again on the mighty Westnile TV, to be discussing a number of pertinent issues pertaining our development in this region. Good morning, the people of Manibe and Aroe. Good morning, Aivu East constituency. And good morning, Arua City, and good morning, Westnile.
All right, thank you very much, Honorable, and thank you very much, viewer. He's a gentleman that will be making sense of the developmental issues that we have here in Arua City. And you have to know that Arua City was, created by Act of Parliament in 2020. I beg to be corrected. And as we talk right now, the city is boasting of 2 years existence, and we shall be, looking at the ups and downs in regards to the development agenda that the city has. And he's a gentleman who sits in the city council, and on several occasions he has been a gentleman who has been making sense of the council sitting, and also trying to technically advise the city council on how they should really go about with their development issues here in Arua City. Maybe on a lighter note, 2 years down the road, what are some of the achievements that you personally boast of as the representative of the people of Aivu Division North, that was formerly Manibe and Aroe sub-county?
Yeah, thank you once again. I want to say, all right, 1st July 2020, we woke up with the good news that finally Arua City has been born. And this is something that the people of Westnile have been yearning for, because this is the regional city for the region. And I must say, on a lighter note, I must be grateful for making history. By the way, I am the city councillor of Aivu North. That's something which has gone down into the history books of this city and history books of this country. And of course, we wake up with the expectations of what really a city looks like. And I must say, so far, on a lighter note, that history which has been made is something good for us, Westnile, because cities come with a lot of opportunities, as per se, as we expect. And I must say, in my own view, yes, that's something we can reckon with and say, yes, here we are, and how do we move forward? In my own view, that's something we can talk about, and having a regional city here, in my own view, that's something good I can boast about.
All right, you have heard from him right there. He boasts of having the regional city, and you happen to come from Aivu Division North, and we have some members of the Aivu who call themselves Save Aivu Initiative. Do you buy their minds, or you against what they are pushing for? Because they're saying that the city is too big, and if Aivu can be given its own district status like other counties that were part of Arua district then, like Terego and also Madiokolo, and currently we are talking about Arua district that is apparently Vuran.
Well, when someone talks about saving someone, it means the person looking at the perspective where the condition under which the current person is not a good one. But I must say, this is a democratic country where people ought to express their views. And when I try to digest what are the reasons behind these people's move of saying we are saving Aivu, it's apparent that one of the greatest reasons is that the entire Popland wasn't well consulted when it comes to the creation of these cities. And that's something I must say which is true on ground. The sensitization which is expected wasn't all that diverse. And of course, cities come with the two sides, the good parts of the city, and also their bad parts, which comes in terms of the policies which regard the management of the city. And by then, I was in the society working elsewhere when the process of forming these cities were concerned. And I must say, there are different views. As you rightly said, there are those who are saying the city is too big. And when we talk of, in terms of numbers, the former 7 sub-counties of Ivo County are all here in this city, including the 2 former divisions of Arua Hill and also River Ori division. We have 9 former sub-counties per se in this city. And if you look at in terms of over 100 square kilometers in this city, and ordinarily someone may look at the geographical aspect and say the city is too big. But the question is it of advantage to have a big land size in an administrative unit? What benefits can we reap from here? In my own view, as someone in this city, yes, the city was created with the minimal aspect of seeking people's views as far as how cities are going to operate. But the question is, and let me be open to you, one of the books in the Bible that I don't want to read is the Book of Lamentations. For me, I'm someone who's very futuristic. Now I am here. Someone has led me and has made me to fall into a pool. Do I continue lamenting? Why have you pulled me down in this pool? No. I must now try to look for ways of coming out of this pool of water and saving my life. So in my own view, yes, the issues have happened.
Yep.
What do we need to do as people of this county as Ivo? Do you continue lamenting that we're already here? Is it possible for government to reverse its decisions of curbing Ivo out of the city? I'm not in parliament. That is something that our members of parliament will guide us upon. But the bigger question is, how do we now tell the government, look, this is the biggest city in this country? As an economist myself, when it comes to resource allocation, we consider the space of the people in that administrative unit, then to the population which is in there. For equitable resource allocation, it looks at the number of people vis-a-vis the resources. So in this guise, we can actually be boasting that if our members of parliament bring out our issues clearly, actually this is one of the areas where we should be able to tap more.
All right, thank you very much. You have talked about the space that the city has currently and also the population that we do have. We are boasting of, completing 2 successful, financial years. How has been the 2 financial years that you have been, as a city councillor here in Arua City in terms of resource allocation from the center? How has the city been, been financed in the last 2 financial years? Before we get into this financial year of 2023-2024.
To be honest with you, when you shared with me the invitation for this show, I tried to share this on different platforms to get people's view. Let me tell you, to be frank, people's expectations have not been met. First of all, when Arua, our city, was pronounced, people's expectations from 1st July 2020 is that we are not going to have all the roads tarmacked, electricity connected everywhere, health facilities improved, the infrastructure development improved in schools, and many other factors. We have factories which are established to create more businesses. And let me tell you, down to 2 years, that bigger expectation of the people has not been met. Because people's perception was, once it is created, things must change. Arua must become like Kampala. So, this comes in terms of resource allocations. When we came to the council, the budget was in 38 million. That's the budget we funded from the former Arua municipality. 1 year down the road, when we now started the first budget process, we budgeted for around 42 millions in 2022. So when we came to the current budget, so a lot of gaps, let me tell you, a lot of gaps as far as funding from the National Treasury has been concerned. That's why a lot of infrastructure development in this city are not being done, simply because the funding that we expected from the government for a city has not been there. A lot of gaps in terms of data have been there. Most of funding which comes to Arua City, they have been using the data of the then 10,400 households in the former Arua municipality. That funding gap has been one of the biggest challenges so far, in my own view, which has made Arua City Council fail to implement a number of the projects.
With the funding gap 2 years down the road, what are some of the projects that the City Council can really show to the public that these are some of the projects that we have undertaken and we have completed, apart from the projects that were undertaken by then Arua municipality?
Well, let me say, as a City Council, yes, we found a good number of projects which are already underway by the then Arua municipality. But as a City Council, we have tried to allocate some of the few resources that we have, and most of our priorities are being in primary schools. If you go to Anyarako, you'll be able to see 11 classroom blocks, which have 7 classroom blocks which are being constructed with teachers' staff room, with offices. So we have 11 blocks which are being constructed in Anyara. And if you go to Oringi Health Center 3, you'll be able to see we have constructed the staff accommodation in Oringi Health Center 3. And then you come to Aroi Health Center 3. We are doing fencing. We are doing fencing of that health facility. And this financial year, we have also earmarked a number of projects. We are going to work on the 3 classroom block in Odrav Cop. Then we're also going to put up a 3 classroom block in Ilufe Cop, and among other projects which the city has embarked on. So, in brief, these are some of the bigger infrastructure developments that the city so far has been able to do with the limited resources so far received from the National Treasury.
There has been allegations of corruption scandals in the city. It so happened that one of the previous council sitting, you rose up in the council and challenged the passing of the supplementary budget of a good tune of billion. What came into your mind and what was going on? What cheeky behavior did you notice that made you to really challenge the passing of the supplementary budget at that time? And what were the supplementary budget for?
Okay, it's true. We passed the supplementary budget towards the end of 2021-2022 financial year, and this was in the 11 billions, of which like 2 billions was for Usumit funding. And then we also had the 8 billions. We also had for staff payments. The question is, by then Arua City Council wasn't recruiting new staff. And these staff have already been there in the system of the government. The question is, what happened? Why were you unable to capture the data of this staff for funding as far as the salaries is concerned? What went wrong? Did someone not do his or her work right from the onset of the financial year? Why do you need a supplementary budget to pay staff? That's one of the questions that we're asking. Then 2, the question of the funding for USMID. Yes, you see, by law, the councillors in the city council have the mandate to monitor all government projects which are being implemented in the electoral area. As we talk now, as councillors, we do not have the operational guidelines of the USMID funds, but we're seeing work is going on. So we can't be able to explain that, yes, this supplementary budget you bring into us is coming as a result of the financial deficit in terms of funding from the previous disbursements from the central government. So in our own view, something really has been hidden for us, the councillors, as far as the aspect of USMID project is concerned. And that's basically why those issues kept coming up.
You're telling us that you don't monitor USMID project. And who are the people monitoring the project that we have? Because if the councillors are put aloof from the project, then how sure are we that what is being done is of quality?
That's the question which the people of Arua City are asking. And we, the local leaders, are asking, whom do they want to involve as far as monitoring of this project is concerned? I sit in the committee of social services, in which community services is the one that does the issues of mindset change and also community sensitization as far as implementation of these project is concerned. The committee has never been taken for monitoring of USMID project. However, we have the technical arm of the council which do monitoring. But we are here as political leaders to oversee, to do an oversight role of their work. You are the one doing the work, and you also want to be the one monitoring your own work. So who is going to bring in checks and balances? So that really means something is not done well, and someone is trying to cover up. And let me tell you, we have not put down our tools on this. With or without the official aspect of monitoring, we're already on ground to carry out investigation on how this work is done. At an appropriate time, we shall be able to bring our own report.
Are you telling us that somebody is frustrating you people in as far as monitoring is concerned, or somebody is hiding something from the councillors?
To be honest with you, all projects of government come with sects for monitoring. Because government knows for us to have checks and balances, we need to have monitoring done by the political arm of government, because they're here to check the work of the technical staff. And there's budgetary allocation to that, which is provided by law. So, project is going on. Why are you not taking this legal body of government to check the work that you are doing? So really, in our own view, as Committee of Social Services, something is not being done right on the background.
It's quite unfortunate right there. Just within this week, there has been this story of the files that were belonging to the people of Aivu that were, intercepted by Arua district, and they never, wanted to hand over the file. And the city authority is writing to the district, please, can you avail us with the files for the people of Aivu? How has this been able to affect service delivery for the people of Aivu?
Thank you very much. I think these 6,000 files we were talking about are in the form of the land registration files. As we're aware, when the process of formalizing the city was nearing its implementation, by then we were still under the defunct Arua district, where we only had the one district land board, of which people were registering, starting the process of registering their land with the government, and all the processes was being conducted by Arua District Land Board. Now, from 1st July 2020, we now expected that since we now have Arua City in place, and what has remained of Arua District is only Vura County, by default, and with good working relationship, we expected that yes, Vora now has its own, the remnant of the district land board. Now Arua City also now has a different entity of government. We expected in mutual understanding, the land board of Arua district only say the file ABCD is for Arua district. The file DEFG is for the people of Ayivu County who have remained in the city. It was just a matter of handing over these files to Arua City, Arua City Land Board should have now started working on the files of Ayivu, where the boundaries of the city goes up to. And then, to be honest with you, I don't understand the leadership of Arua district. These people are behaving as if they have been thrown from the moon. They are behaving as if they have been in serious fight with the people of Arua City. Now, what benefit do they want to get out of holding the file of Ayivu, apart from having corruption tendencies, wanting to fraudulently take charge of some of the lands in this city and wanting to sell? And I think this has come evidently in 2022 when the cow of Arua district wrote and said they want to take ownership of all the properties of the former 7 sub-counties which are in Ayivu County, the former Ayivu County, which are not in under his jurisdiction. Now, why do you want to take ownership of Aroi sub-county, Manipetadam, Oluko, Ayivuni, Adomi, and the Pajulu, which are all in Ayivu, which are now in the city, and yet you are the cow, chief administrative officer of Arua district, where the sub-counties are Arevo, Adia, Vora, and the Logiri. What was the impact? So clearly, these people want to hold files of these properties, and then at an appropriate time, start illegal sale of these lands. And that's something which continuously has been coming, and it's coming to our ears.
But they claim that they have not yet shared the property among themselves, Arua City and Arua District. Maybe they're holding these files because of the property sharing aspect of the immovable one, especially when we talk about the land, because these former sub-counties were in Arua District.
Now, when it comes to asset sharing, to be honest with you, the assets which can only be shared between two government entities are movable assets. The immovable assets like land and buildings cannot be shared. You're not even allowed to sell them. You leave them to the administrative units where you have been, and then you go where you're supposed to go. What can only be shared is the movable assets like vehicles, office equipment, and other things. Then, to be honest with you, if Arua district wants to take ownership of some of the lands which are within the boundaries of our city, they are daydreaming. And if that is what the thing is supposed to be done, they should first allow us to recall the people of Yumbe, the people of Koboko, the people of Marata, the people of Mariokolo, and yesterday, the people of Terego, to first come here to the Mad Arua district, and we begin to sell all the lands within the Mada district of Arua, and they give their shares, and then they first go with, and then we see how much is left for Arua district. But people of Yumbe went without a question of want to sell one of the land or houses in Arua headquarters to go with. The same is with Koboko, Maracha, Madiokolo, Terego. Who is Arua district wanting to first sell every land in Arua city before they go to Vora?
If it is very clear like that, and what is dragging the feet here and there? Is it personal interest, or somebody's not understanding and reading the guidelines properly?
I think, in my own view, there are black angels who are trying to confuse the political leadership of Arua district to fail to understand. And there's someone who is pretending to be a godfather for the people of Arua district, giving them false hope that they can actually take ownership of the lands here in Arua City. Ideally, that, in my own view, up to now, growing all this time here, that is the least confrontation the people of Arua district have come to. So, in my own view, someone is deceiving them somewhere. We have suffered in the hands of the leadership of our district, leave alone the issue of land, the office space. They have refused to leave the office space. If you go to Arua City, recently we did recruitment of the new staff. People are squatting in corridors to do work. And yet, ideally, Arua City Council should be occupying that office space where Arua district is. Then too, Arua district, as per se, is a Vura county. The purpose is the people of Vura now expected to get services closer to them. And let me tell you, I want to tell the people of Vura, they are being disadvantaged by their political leaders who are not focused. By now, we expected the LC5 and his team to have moved and even sit under a tree. This is what the people of Madiokolo did. A few years down the road, if you go to Madiokolo, they have put a very big infrastructure in terms of office space. Two, they have taken services closer to their people. As we talk now, someone is coming from Marivu, Logiri, riding on the bicycle to come and access the LC5 and other officials from the district here. Ideally, they should be able to get these services either in Marivu or, Dumi, where they are proposed. Of course, they are also confused in their own movie of where the headquarters is supposed to be. So, the issue of office space, the issue of road equipment, 2021, 2022, we are unable to maintain roads.
What happened to them?
Because the road fund, which the government sent, is supposed to be used. Let me tell you, after the end of the financial year, if 600 millions was supposed to be used to hire road equipment and maintain roads, minimal work can be done. And let me tell you, that money was not used, and it was returned to the National Treasury simply because there was no road equipment. And yet here, you had a mother district where there is a full road unit, and the LC5 and his cow and the team and the engineer refuse to give this road equipment to someone on whose land they are sitting. And that's the level of impunity we're dealing with.
Of not giving you people the road unit.
Of course, every time our engineering department goes to request for this road equipment, the excuse is we are working on our roads.
Okay.
And how much space do they have? 4 sub-counties against 9. Ayivu alone has over 600 kilometers of untarmacked Maram road. Who should have actually been given the highest opportunity of using this road equipment? So that is how far the people of Arua City have suffered in the hands of the people of Arua District.
All right. Thank you very much, dear viewer. You are watching KOKOLIRIKO Live on Westnile Television. I have Honorable Anguyo Godfrey, who is the city councillor representing the people of Ayivu Division North, the former Manibe and Aroi sub-county, and we are making sense of some of the development agenda and the issues surrounding Arua City. And as you have heard, they seem to be bad blood, between Arua City and Arua District. I'm not insinuating something, but because from what he has been able to explain, you can really, pick some very important issues between Arua District and Arua City, and how can these two administrative units be able to sit and work together, since they are all doing work for the same government, and that is government of the Republic of Uganda, and serving the citizens of the Republic of Uganda. We shall be going for a break, and when we come back, we still have more for you, as we shall be diving into issues to do with the procurement and awarding contracts here in the city. And since he's a city councillor, he can give us a very good conversation in regards to the awards of contracts that we always have here in the city, and who are the contractors who are really doing different work here in the city, who are offering services and and also delivering on behalf of the city. Remember, there is this story that is still trending here in Arua City, where Rema Engineering Construction Limited was able to challenge the decision of the contract committee of Arua City when they decided to award the contract to the second highest bidder to collect local revenue from Arua main market. More of this will be coming after the break. My name is Denis Oringi, and I'm together with the Honorable City Councillor Godfrey Nguyo right here in the studio, and we're making sense of some of these issues that have been coming to your attention, maybe from different social media platforms, but he's here to explain to you what is happening. You can go to our message box or the comment section, and you can drop in your comments any question you want to ask in regards to issues surrounding Arua City. You will be able to avail you with some of the statistics and data because he sits in the council. Good morning. Let's go for a break.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
Get more for less on StarTimes this Easter season. Cartoon channel for best children entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Makula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with StarTimes. StarTimes is regulated by UCC.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, well, we'll be back, and thank you very much for joining us, and we do appreciate you very much for tuning to Westnile Television this morning, Thursday, 20th of July 2023, and I'm still here in the studio with Honorable Councillor Godfrey Nguyo right here, and we are making sense of some of the developmental issues that we have here in Arua City, and also we shall be able to dive into national issues, and we have some discussion here and there based on some of the stories that are trending in our country, Uganda. But before that, we are still discussing Arua City, and you have to know that the media has been awash with the story of Rema Engineering Construction Company Limited, challenging the decision of the Arua City, that is the contract committee, of selecting the second highest bidder to take on the contract of collecting local revenue from Arua main market. Yet Rema Engineering Construction Company Limited says that they were the highest bidder that bidded with the amount of 115 million Ugandan shillings as their monthly remittance to Arua City Authority. Meanwhile, they were not considered, and the contract committee had to consider the second highest bidder that bidded to be giving 105 million Uganda shillings as local revenue from Arua main market. Basing on this, Rema Engineering Company Limited challenged the decision of the contract committee of Arua City that is the PPDA appeal tribunal that has written to the city clerk of Arua to halt that procurement process, and this has to be harmonized before further, procedures are taken into consideration. Let's have this story, and after that I will be having Godfrey Anguyo to make sense of what is happening in the city where he is one of the councillors. Let's have the story, if the producer can drop for us the story. The Public Procurement and Disposal of Public Assets Appeals Tribunal has suspended the entire process of awarding tender for the provision of revenue collection services for Arua City main market. This is after Rema Engineering Company Limited petitioned the tribunal seeking for the nullification of the process over alleged irregularities. In the appeal application seen by Westnile Television, Rema Engineering Company Limited, which had offered shillings 115,500,000 as its bid price, protested the decision taken by Arua City authorities to award the Arua main market tender to Maraka Investment Limited, which had a lower reserve price of shillings 105 million Ugandan shillings.
Is that the procurement process was tainted with a lot of illegalities and was not done in a very transparent, honest way. That administrative review application was made on 23rd of June 2023, and the decision was made by the town clerk on 13th of July 2023, and the decision made did not really capture the issues we raised in administrative review application, and because of that we have decided to appeal that decision to the PPD Appeals Tribunal, and that was on 13th, the same day we appealed.
He noted that as a result, the whole process of the contract was suspended by PPDA Appeals Tribunal pending hearing of the matter.
Process of the contract was suspended by the PPD Appeals Tribunal, and the matter has been fixed for hearing. The procedure is that once you are dissatisfied with the accounting officer's decision, you will go to the PPD Appeals Tribunal. So that's where we are, and the matter is still pending determination. Arua City has been given 3 days to file its response together with a successful bidder, that is Maraka Investment Limited, to file their response. And by 20th of this month, they want all our documents to be on record.
It is on this ground that Jackson Leah Tima, the Central Division Member of Parliament, condemned the decision taken by Arua City Contract Committee to award the market tender to the second highest bidder, contrary to the PPDA regulations.
We are losing 10 million monthly, coming to 120 million per year in the contract of this new market. And when this came to my attention, I directed the RCC and the town clerk to look into this issue and address it, because when it comes to revenue mobilization, when it comes to contract awards, according to the Market Act, we are supposed to go for the highest bidder, which is 115 million per month, which will generate good revenue for the city, which revenue we will use to do a lot of things in the city: collect garbage, sweep the roads, clean drainages, put greenery in the city, employ youth to do these activities, and women who are idle, who are seated on the roadsides. But when we lose revenue just because we are greedy, or we choose to favor our relatives, we choose to favor ourselves, we choose to award these contracts to our own companies that we register within the city, it becomes unfair.
However, Paul Batanda, the Arua City clerk, said in procurement, when a decision is made by the contracts committee and the bidder is not happy with the decision that has come up, he has a right to write to the accounting officer giving reasons why he is not comfortable with the decision, and that those who sit in the contract committee, he trusts them because they are members with high moral integrity.
Who constitute? Now, the contracts committee, when you look at the PPDA Act, the constitution is made up of civil servants or public officers within that jurisdiction. And for this case, the jurisdiction, we are looking at Arua City. So if it's a district, you pick officers from within. Those officers should have one, definite integrity. There are some parameters that put integrity. You must not be an accounting officer. So an accounting officer, I can't be a member of the contracts committee. Finance officer, you're not supposed to be a member of the contracts committee. So that's the constitution. It's mainly public officers.
When asked about the reasons advanced by the contract committee to award the tender to the second bidder, Batanda said the matter is already in court and that he wouldn't like to comment on issues before court as an administrator. Dennis Oringi, Westnile Television, Nilecast. Well, we're back, and you have followed the story and you have understood the gist of the matter here when we talk about the procurement processes. And I have been telling you that if you want to understand the level of corruption in our country, Uganda, you cannot forget to start from the procurement. What is this animal called procurement committee, Anguyo, as a city councillor and somebody who has the expert in as far as financial management is concerned? Because that's where I have been told that a local, an administrative unit starts its expenditure from that particular committee. Whether in the local government, ministries, departments, agencies of government, and even the NGO world, that is where the expenditure of an organization starts from. It is through the contract committee. Maybe you give us more light into this animal called contract committee and who these in this contract committee at the local government level. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dennis, for bringing up that that matter to light. Really, I must say, for the past few days, I've seen the matters being moving around different social media platforms and also the mainstream media. Procurement, simply in a layman's term, is a process of getting someone to do some service or to do some work on behalf of government. And according to the PPD Act 2003, all government or projects or government works, maybe revenue collection, service, other service delivery, consultancy services, the person who is supposed to do it must be go through public procurement and disposal of public assets. It's called the Act as amended in 2003. And that means every district or city council has the mandate to make, to formulate a committee, which is called a procurement committee, whose role is to, one, identify, of course, from the heads of department, they'll be able to identify the needs for service delivery in that department. And then two, they'll be able to forward to the procurement officer, who should be able to inform the committee that in this coming financial year, we are going to need procurement of this item A, B, C, D, or maybe constructions in these health facilities or schools and what have you. We're going to have markets which are supposed to be tendered to eligible personalities to collect revenue from the government and many other works. So it's upon this committee to now be able to seek for bidders. Bidders are people who have the interest to bid, to say, I can be able to collect revenue, say in Otokwa market, and monthly I can pay this amount of money to Arua City local government. Another person also come in. It's a process. So this committee, once they advertise for these bidders, people put in their bids, and the next role is to come and evaluate the different people who have shown interests to do works or revenue collection on behalf of government. Of course, there are parameters according to PPD Act 2003 on which a successful bidder should be evaluated. And one of them is the capacity in terms of financial capacity.
Okay.
And two, in terms of the previous experiences in doing that similar work. Then in terms of human resource in doing similar work, and many others. So I did normally, and I want to make this clause in according to PPD Act 2003. The committee reserve has the right not to award the contract to the highest bidder if other parameters are not fulfilled. Even if you have the highest bidder, but other assessments, you've failed them, the committee has the right not to give you that contract. That's one thing I must put clear as someone who has done procurement as a course unit, above at bachelor's and also at master's level. So therefore, in this scenario, they look at, first of all, the document submission. Have you submitted all your documents in line with what the application was? There you go through. Then two, they begin to make an assessment of each of those documents you have provided.
The authenticity.
The authenticity of those. Of course, one of them is to have a tax certificate from URA, where they have been tax compliant. Of course, to do government work, you must be able to have been doing or filing returns if you're a registered company. And two, do you have the financial capacity? That is in terms of your bank statement. Normally, they look at your bank statement that you submit. You see how much money you have, because sometimes government revenues, government funds delay to people who are being given the contract. So you must be able to show that you can actually start this work with your own money, and then government money will come in. So they look at your finances. They look at your staff. Do you have the relevant staff to do the work
With the right
qualification? Have you done this work elsewhere? So I want to put this clear. The experience we are talking about is in line. For example, if you applied for markets, the experience that you must present should be in line with the markets. If you have been doing construction of houses, that is experience. But if you use your experience of construction to apply for collection of marketed dues, it means you are submitting a right experience for a wrong project.
For a wrong service.
For a wrong service. If you're being providing medical services and you're applying to do works, construction of roads, you have the experience, but you're submitting it for a wrong bid. That is something people must understand.
Okay.
So experience does not mean that you've been a company, you've been doing any work, therefore you can do any work. No. Your experience must be in line with what has been applied. And this is a common sense, like how people normally seek applicants for jobs. They say you must have a related experience. That's something people must be able to understand.
Now, coming back home.
Yes. Coming back home, the question of Arua City is the contract committee. Yes, as it has been explained from the highlights by the town clerk. This committee is constituted among the technical staff.
Okay.
And I must put a disclaimer that as Arua City Council, we have not gone through this procurement committee, as councillors, we also don't know them.
Okay.
We don't know who the procurement committee of Arua City, we don't know who they are. And we hope.
Is it a design that the councillors should not be able to know? the procurement committee of a local government that they really provide service for? Or it is also another technical technical knockout of the councillors from knowing the affairs of the city from the technical angle?
All committees that are doing work on behalf of the council should be known by the party who is monitoring their work. And the highest authority is the city council. When the mayor, His Worship the Mayor, was nominating people for City Service Commission, for City Land Board, for City Accounts Committee, all these names were presented to us in council with their profiles. We debated about them and we rejected some of them, we passed some of them. And in that spirit, we also expected this kind of committee to have been passed through this same council so that they know the integrity as being explained, as this staff being operating with the highest level of integrity. Because we're in different committees with this staff. That has not been done. To put the point straight, our city councillors have not seen or do not know the procurement committee, and we have to be guided within the legal framework. So the question here is, we have seen the Rema Engineering Company complaining about the process. I must say yes. Towards the end of June 2023, Arua City advertised for different areas to seek for bidders. To bid, and one of them is collection of revenue from Arua main market. Of course, as councillors, ours is that, yes, as you rightly said, procurement is the first step in identifying people to manage resources or to do works in the coming financial year. So you first start by getting people who are going to do the works. That process, I must say, it has been done well. They started by advertising, people applied, they were informed, the committee sat, evaluated all the bidders, and finally, they awarded the bidders for the different works. And I think of all those areas, it's so far I've heard of the Rema Engineering who has complained that in their own view, they were the highest bidder who should have actually been awarded the contract to collect revenue in Arua main market on behalf of Arua City Council. And I must say, personally, I have not gone through the documentation that they submitted. We have not been informed officially by the town clerk about what went wrong or what went right, whether Rema Engineering had all the requirements which were needed from them. Then two, being the highest bidder, if you are the highest bidder, you have all the requirements, then there should be no reason why you should not be awarded the contract. That is in principle. If they had everything right, they were the highest bidder, they should have been awarded the tender to manage the Arua main market. But if they were highest bidder, but a number of the required documents were lacking, or some of the key documents were lacking, as per se, and I must say, according to the Act, the committee reserved the right not to award the contract to the highest bidder who doesn't have all the other qualifications.
Yeah, yesterday I was at the city council. So specifically, I interested myself with the city notice board. And I think before we met, and I was able to, you got me at the city notice board. I was perusing through the companies that have been selected to offer services as it was advertised, and those that have not been selected to provide services. It's quite unfortunate, and you can go this morning. I do not know, maybe they have changed overnight. You're not going to get Rema Engineering Company Limited among the list of those even who did not meet the qualification, and even among those that have been selected. And so I think there seems to be fishy things going on, and I request that this has to be made clear, because if I have not gone through, you put me among the the list of companies that have not been selected based on the reasons that they always write. That's what I always know with procurement. When you go to the public notice board, they will write that Oringi and Sons Company Limited, you have not been selected based on the following reasons. Yes. And they highlight for you the reason properly. If I have been selected, then there's a category of those that have now, that have successfully gone through. And so yesterday when I was going through the notice board, I did not get Rema Engineering Company Limited anywhere from the notice board. Now, if they are saying that they were able to, to apply, we expected their name either to appear on the other side or on this side. I think that could also be one of the reasons why they are challenging, because they have gone to the notice board and they have failed to get where their name is. And so we leave it to the court. I have been told that the PPDA appeal tribunal is waiting. I think today is 28th. Yeah, Arua City has only today to submit their defense or their response to the issues that have been raised by Rema Engineering Company Limited right there, and then they will be able to fix a date for hearing and seeing what need to be done right there. And so away from that, dear viewer, let's go for a break, and when we come back we shall be diving into national issues. We shall be talking about the LC election, and you have to know that the term of office of the LC1 chairpersons in this country and LC2 chairpersons expired on 10th of July this particular year. Remember, the LC1 chairpersons and LC2 chairpersons were elected in 2018. By 10th of July, that was the time that the LC1 chairpersons were elected. Meanwhile, for the LC2 chairpersons, they were elected on 11th of July 2018. And so 4 years down the road, we are supposed to have another election of the LC chairpersons. Currently, as I do talk right now, government of the Republic of Uganda has budgeted 57 billion for organizing the LC chairpersons election in this country, but this has been criticized by the Speaker of Parliament of the Republic of Uganda, Right Honorable Anita Among, saying that this money is too much to organize LC1 election. 57 billion? How are you going to organize the election? Because what we know with LC1 chairperson's election, the voters need to line behind these, LC chairpersons. They have to line behind the candidates. I mean here. And so, where will the money go? The 57 billion. If the voting is by lining behind the candidates. Let's go for a break, and when we come back, Anguyo Godfrey Amin will be making sense of that. Whether the speaker is right to slam the government of coming out with that figure of 57 billion for organizing LC election, or that money is even little and more money need to be increased. And the justification, he might be able to tell us, because he has participated in active politics and in active elections, and he knows what election means in this country, Uganda. Maybe he will be in agreement with what government of the Republic of Uganda has come out with, or he will be in disagreement with what government of the Republic of Uganda has really planned to have for LC election in this country. Good morning.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region. Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
Get more for less on Star Times this Easter season. Cartoon channel for best children entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Makula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with Star Times. Star Times is regulated by UCC.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
Right, we'll be back and thank you very much. You have to know that the 14 minutes to the top of the hour of 9 a.m. At exactly 9 a.m., we shall be signing out of the studio. We are still here with Honorable Anguyo Godfrey, who is the City Councillor representing the people of Aivu Division North, the former Manibe and Aroi sub-counties that we had in Aivu County in the Arua district. So currently, the sub-counties have been, annexed to the city. And so he is one of the city councillors, and he is well versed with issues of the city. That's why I took the initiative to invite him to come this morning and to make sense of some of the things. You might have never been to Arua City, but through the conversations that we're having right now, you are able to picture how Arua City looks like. We also interest you one time also to visit the city and make comparison with other cities that we have in this country, Uganda. And if you happen to reach Arua City, do not forget to come to Westnile Television. We are located on plot 39A, Weatherhead Park Lane, just next to the Presidential State Lodge right here. You can as well use the GPS and also the Google map to find us where we are located. And so we interest you. If for those who have businesses and you want your businesses to be advertised, we still have the platform for you. For those who want to sponsor KOKOLIRIKO Live, we also do have the opportunity for you to book the hour of the show, and your business will be fully advertised. Yes, before we went for a break, I was trying to bring to your attention that yesterday I was able to visit the city notice board, and I realized that Rema Engineering Company Limited was missing even on the side of unsuccessful bidder and also on the side of successful bidder. Now, this should go to each and every person that we do have in this country. Now, if you applied for, if you applied as a bidder and it so happened that you did not get your name, your company name among the unsuccessful one and also among the successful one bidders, what should you do? Okay. Do you just leave it at that, or there are, procedures and steps that you can really take after that?
Yeah, thank you very much. I must say, the name PPDA is the disposal of public assets. So therefore, it's a public process because the procurement is done for service delivery to the public. So therefore, if people have applied for a tender and someone is not successful, I said before the word, there's evaluation of the bidders. They should be able to come up and say, a company A applied and the requirements were A, B, C, D, was able to fulfill this, this and that. And therefore, the other requirement, E, F, G, they do not fulfill. Then, therefore, that's why most times after the evaluation process, they must display. I'm saying they must display the list of successful bidders and the list of unsuccessful bidders for public to view on the public notice board. So, let me assume that this was an error, or that list was published on the notice board of Arua City, and maybe it was removed for other urgent or new notices which have been put. But the deal is all the list of successful and unsuccessful bidders should have been placed on the notice board for public viewing. Then two, even if the list is not published on the notice board, we have the office of the town clerk. He's the accounting officer of Arua City. He should be able to have, upon completion of the process of getting bidders, the committee should be able to submit a report to the accounting officer, who is the town clerk, about the list of successful bidders and those who are unsuccessful. Therefore, any party who is not satisfied of any document which is not put in for public viewing should be able to go to office of the town clerk of the respective, for this case, Arua City, who should be able to avail the list of successful bidders and those who are not successful with the reasons. And that's what I expected Rema to have done, and I hope they have met the office of the town clerk to have this inquiry made. And I must say, these tendencies in the highest order, I reject it, because before I came to Council Dennis, Arua, the name Arua district has been tarnished with a lot of corruption scandals. And one of the reasons why we're here is to ensure that to see the right thing must be done in this city. And I must be open to the people of Arua City. I am not going to sit and watch someone who is doing corruption tendencies in this city. People have faced it rough in that council. Good enough, some of you have been there. Any corruption tendency, we put you on the spot to explain to the public. If it is true that Rema has been disadvantaged with all the requirements done, I must advise they should proceed, and that step they have taken is legal with the tribunal, and we are going to have the hearing. If the PPDA tribunal committee finds that the action had what it takes, in my own view, they should actually be awarded the tender. But if they lacked some of the things, I must request to them that they should say, yes, we failed because of ABCD. Let's wait for the next financial year.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for your insight in regards to matters to do with the PPDA. And we interest the members of the public. Get interested. Anything to do with the public procurement, it should be open to the members of the public, as Honorable Godfrey Anguyo has really, alluded to. And so get interested to understand what is happening in your district, in your sub-county. In most cases, we tend to focus on the district and also on the central government, but we fail to understand what happens at our sub-county level. And you have to know that sub-county is also another unit of service delivery. And so when we get to understand our sub-county budget, and also we get to understand the procurement plan, and we always seek advice from these officers, that is a good thing to do. We have a comment from Fedox who says, good morning. Really, what are we going to do to stop this corruption that is eating us? We advocate, it is in vain. Arua City authorities, please help us develop Westnile, because our hopes are in the city. And that is one of our viewers who is tuned always to Western television, more especially KOKOLIRIKO Live, because he says that that is a show that can really shape the minds of the people that we have in the region. We do appreciate you very much. Yes, Honorable, let's talk matters to do with LC election in this country. Speaker of Parliament of the Republic of Uganda yesterday, Ms. Anita Netamong, criticized the government for allegedly exaggerating the amount of money needed to organize and conduct successful LC1 elections in this country. She directed her concern to the government side, represented by the Prime Minister during the plenary session yesterday. Among urged them to review the figures and ensure that the elections are successful, in all parts of this country. And quoting her verbatim saying, even if you gave my MPs here shillings 5 million to go and have elections in their places, elections will be there. The problem we have is exaggerating figures. We cannot give shillings 57 billion. That is a lot of money. Let us have a realistic figure for us to give money for LC1 elections. Ms. Anita Netamong has said right here. Do you think we need these LC1 chairpersons? If we need, why is the government is taking long to organize the election for this LC1 chairperson? And what do you make of this figure that has been presented by government? 57 billion organizing LC1 election.
Well, I woke up on 10th of July 2023 with the news from the Minister for Local Government, Honorable Raphael Magezi, telling the people of Uganda that the term of office of the local councils has expired. Then, is to be honest with you, if there's any minister and any ministry who should have actually been sacked on 10th of July, it should have been Honorable Raphael Magezi and the entire Ministry of Local Government for undermining the office of the local council. First, for starters, of course, Arua City and the entire country went into elections in 2021. Is the Minister of Local Government aware that LUCs are supposed to be elected? Where were they? This is not the first time. 2001 up to 2018,
yeah, 17 years.
over 17 years, elections were not held. And yet the other elections were being conducted. Recently, we had the general elections. The LC ones were nowhere to be seen. The other day I was hosted in one of the radio stations and I asked, is the election of LC1 an emergency that it has come abruptly like COVID-19 after the general election, that now the Minister of Local Government said, hey, there's an emergency which has come here and therefore we need to seek for supplementary budgets to have it addressed? Or they were simply sleeping on job? In my own view, this election should have been done in 2021. And going forward, I want to say, countrymen, we need to fight to ensure that the elections in this country must be done after every 5 years, beginning from LC1 up to the president. Okay. LC1 is the highest administrative unit at the local councils. And their role is even much bigger than the councillors, even the members of parliament. If you go to Ivu East, the LC1 chairperson of a KOKOLIRIKO Show has a stamp and can be able to give you a recommendation. But the councillor cannot give you a recommendation. To sell your goods, for any document, the member of parliament cannot give you a recommendation.
Even for you to get passport, to get out of the country.
That tells you the importance of the office of LC1. So now it leaves a lot of questions to be unanswered, and I must say that is a very big oversight which shouldn't repeat itself. 57 billion, why? Of course, where is this money going to be allocated to do what? We need to have a breakdown of how this money is supposed to be done. 2018, we lined up
transporting electoral materials.
Which electoral materials? the declaration forms, which they can be able to send using the email to their office here, and then they can actually come and print on transport road for all the 470 cells.
So you're telling us,
and 54 wards in Arua City.
You're telling us some people want to eat from this money.
Of course, clearly. What is this money going to be used? They should actually give us a breakdown. As an accountant, I want to see the breakdown of how that 57 billion is going to be used for conducting the LC elections. And I want to believe with the Speaker of Parliament that as the head of the legislators is right to question the ministry to explain how that money is going to be used. In my own view, that's abnormal. Okay. We don't expect taxpayers' money to be defrauded on the day broad light for any issue that they have failed to do, which actually they should have done with other elections. If they, by the way, if they had conducted these elections together with the one of the councillors, the cost might not have gone to that.
Yeah, for sure.
Now that they have taken the entire process to another level, maybe this is a tactics that they have created. Want to defraud taxpayers.
All right, you're parting short before we leave the studio because our time is fast spent. Your concluding word.
Once again, I must say thank you very much, Westnile TV, for hosting me this morning. And I want to thank you for bringing up these pertinent issues. And for the people of Arua City, I must say, I see a number of people are losing hope. The assurance is we are there in that council to ensure that the right things must be done the right way, and we will have your back to stand on your behalf to ensure that that cancer, corruption, which has been eating Arua, is no more by the end of 2026.
All right, thank you very much, Honorable Nguyo Godfrey, for joining me this morning, and I do appreciate you very much for making sense of some of the issues that we do have right here in Arua City, and also making your submission on matters to do with the LC1 chairperson's election. All of us, we need this LC1 chairpersons, and it is our responsibility to implore government to wake up and consider organizing elections for this LC1 chairperson. 57 billion, where will the money go and how will this money be used? I still had my voice to the voice of Honorable Councillor who said 57 57 billion, and he needs the breakdown. Me too, I need the breakdown, and I know somebody also wants the breakdown of 57 billion for the LC1 chairperson selection in our country, Uganda. We are out of here. Thank you very much. Catch you again tomorrow. We shall continue to bring for you guests who will be shaping the conversation and the issues that we have in this region, West Nile. And we, as Westnile Television, we are here to light up the region, and we light up the region through discussing social, economic, and political issues. The people of Pakwach, more especially people of Westnile Sub-County, you have to know that there is a community baraza that has been organized by the Office of the Prime Minister, and make sure that you get yourself right there at Ojigo Primary School, where the baraza is going to take place. If you have been asking accountability questions and nobody has been giving you answers, you have to know that because the State Minister for Northern Uganda will be the one chairing that baraza, the technical officers of Pakwach District will be required to account to the wananchi in that area. And so if you are at home, you are catching us live within Wadilai and other parts of Pakwach District, get interested and be part of that. And you have to know that one of the biggest projects in West Nile, and that is Wadilai irrigation scheme, is right there. And previously, sometimes back, we had that the community ganged up and they burnt one of the bulldozers that was excavating land there. And so I believe that some of the issues that have been going around in that area will be solved today. And so we request that you go in big numbers and you listen to the leaders and the technical people of Pakwach District, including the officials from the Office of the Prime Minister. My name is Denis Oringi. Catch me again tomorrow for the same program, the same television, Westnile TV, and the same presenter, Denis Oringi, as I will be bringing for you other issues that you need to know right here in our country, Uganda. Good morning.